Good evening, everyone. We will go ahead and call the City of Deltona Southwest Deltona Community Redevelopment Agency meeting to order. May we have the roll call, please?
Member Avila Vasquez.
Present.
Member Bradford.
Here.
Member King. Here. Member McCool.
Excused.
Member Sosa.
Here.
Member Ramos.
Present.
Member Hertzberg.
Here. Now may we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner King, if you could lead us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this agenda is a little bit different. We're going to start with item number 3 is public forum. Is there anyone from the general public that is asked to speak on this item? Nope.
No, Mayor.
Then we'll close the public forum portion and we'll go to item 4A. First of all, 4A is a report from Purvis & Gray CPA Financial Statements and Independent Auditors Report of the Southwest Deltona Community Redevelopment Agency, the CRA. We all should have, members, we should all have a book. Yes, ma'am. It's all yours this evening. Julia, can you pull the mic up a little bit and see if it's on? Thank you.
There it goes. Hi, Julia Johnson, Deputy Finance Director. The Southwest Deltona Community Redevelopment Agency is required to have audited financial statements. The audit was conducted in conjunction with the City of Deltona's annual audit presented to the Commission on May 16th by Tim Westgate and Lori Walker from Purvis Gray CPA. It is their opinion the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the CRA as of September 30th, 2021, and its changes in financial position for the year ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the U.S. It is also their opinion that the CRA complied in all material respects with Florida statutes, rules of the Auditor General. The CRA's fund balance increased by $272,120 as a result of the 2021 operations. And the ending fund balance as of September 30th, 2021 was $701,831.
Okay, board members, I'm sorry, do you have any questions for Ms. Julia? No? Do we need a motion to accept the financial report? Okay.
So move.
Second.
Properly moved by Member Ramos, seconded by Member Bradford. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next up we have item B is our update on the Southwest Deltona Community Redevelopment Area from Mr. Mays. Hello, Jerry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I would almost say Madam Mayor, but it's not appropriate for this meeting. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Southwest Deltona CRA. We have 3 items that we wanted to bring in front of you this evening. Keep it in mind, please, these are all items that the board has previously approved, I believe on 2 occasions. What we're coming before you tonight, very simply, is we have contracts, and we would like to get approval on the contract dollar amounts. So the first item is under Transportation and Safety Improvements is the sidewalks. First of all, we're looking at a contractor, JMD Global, who has an ongoing contract with Public Works at this time. We would be upgrading North Normandy from Deltona Boulevard to Baltimore Avenue for a dollar amount of $30,916.25. The funds would come from the CRA. Secondly, from North Normandy to Baltimore to Saxon Boulevard would be installing new sidewalk for a total of $83,724.25. The next item is the street lighting improvements. The contractor is Duke Energy. From Deltona Boulevard, at the Deltona Boulevard and Enterprise Road intersection, would be illumination upgrades. It would be a new pole, new fixtures, higher voltage wattage fixtures for more light. And at Deltona Boulevard and DeBerry Avenue intersection, again, another pole, new fixtures, higher voltage fixtures going on those. Total for this is $14,630.31. Again, Duke Energy, and the funds would come from the CRA budget. Questions?
Members, any questions for Mr. Mays?
On the street lighting, there are street lights there already, correct?
There are street lights there already. It's my understanding they're looking at putting an additional pole for additional lights, changing out the lights to a higher wattage to get more light into the area. And it's just at those two intersections, not all up and down the street. That is a separate item that'd be coming up if it hasn't already been done.
All right, so the lights are basically working now. There's no, as far as, there's no vandalism, there's no any other things that are going on that would prohibit those lights from working at this time?
No, sir, there are not. The lights that are there are fully functional. We just want to make the area brighter at the intersection.
Right.
Okay, that's just for safety. That's all it is.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner King, I would like to add that through the efforts of Phyllis Wallace, she was able to work with Duke to go with a higher lumen light and different internal reflectors that throw the light more efficiently. So, we originally were thinking they were going to be more like a $150,000 project. So
right.
Phyllis deserves a lot of credit for working with Duke and bringing it down to a more cost-effective manner.
Thank you.
Member Sosa?
Yeah, I just have a couple questions, just to get clarification on CRAs. I just want to know, how are the CRAs funded? I know they come out of ad valorem taxes. Now, is this, if we set a millage rate at 7%, is it a percentage of that millage rate that gets put into the CRA, or is it in addition to that millage rate?
All right. Very, in a nutshell, you have what is known as a TIF, a TIF. This is a funding mechanism that in 2016, when the city was approved for the CRA by the county and the city put it into effect, at that time there was a millage rate for both the county and the city. That millage rate is in place. It was in place then, it's in place now. Over the time, any increases of tax revenue via millage rate, via new investment, new construction, anything along that line that came into the CRA. It was that delta between the two. So at this time, we have roughly $1,075,000 in the CRA. That's just memory, and my memory's not that great. I apologize. But that's the rough figure we have right now. So we have the funds. The funds come from the taxes. The city and the county both get the same taxes they did in 2016. It's that amount above what it was. That goes into the CRA fund.
So,
Mr. Sosa, if I could add to that, in order to create a CRA, there's state statutory requirement that you have to meet in order to be qualified for a community redevelopment area. And the tax incremental financing, the whole premise of it is you have an area that has certain deficiencies, and we're using the tax incremental financing as a way to improve the area. When done right, which we have seen this last year, you will have a significant increase in the values in that area. And that money, anything over the base rate that when the CRA was set, that goes into the CRA fund to fund other projects. So it is a means of improving an area that meets certain requirements in terms of efficiency. One of the criteria that people really hate is saying that it's blighted. But the definition in state code of what is blighted is so broad. No, it's not dilapidated housing. It can be lack of sewer and water. It can be lack of proper transportation facilities and what have you. Those are the criteria you have to meet to be a CRA. And the county and the city determined, yes, it met the criteria to be a CRA, and that tax incremental financing is the best way to go in terms of improving the area and the tax base.
And Member Sosa, if I can just add, for a long time, Volusia County was not granting any CRAs. Most of the CRAs were on the east side, except I think there was one over here in DeLand or something. And then they had a change of council, and they decided to grant Orange City one, and they granted ours. And basically, what we get, the money that goes into the CRA is the funding above the baseline from the county. So the county, if your home paid $100 to the county, they still get those $100. But if your value came up and now your home, the home tax for the county portion is $125, the county gets the $100, the city gets the overage. So more of our income, am I right, Mr. Peters, that is the overage from Volusia County. Volusia County will always get the base rate that they got, but we get the incremental increase, and it has to go into this, and there's also regulations as to when you can spend, or like what you can spend it on, which was all in the report when we did the CRA. It's not, the county had stipulations of what we can spend it on and what we can't, and the state also has regulations as you have to spend a certain amount at a certain time, correct? So basically our funding comes from the increment that the county's not getting the extra, where this particular CRA is getting it.
Okay, now, with that, is that like flat across the city of Deltona, anything up and above? or
No,
just for
only
that
the CRA area.
Just
Only
the
the
CRA
designated area that's in the CRA.
Okay.
And it's also for a set period of
Like,
time.
I think it's 20 years.
Yeah.
I think there's the end is 20 years. Am I right, Chair?
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Member Avila Vasquez?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Going back to, because I think we are, there is C and D, right? So going back to C, which is the sidewalk installation, when you say repair, what kind of repair are you looking at?
Well, some of the sidewalks are just simply in need of repair. In other words, different sections where the expansion line was cut into it don't match up anymore. They either need to be replaced or ground down so that they match, so there's not a lip somebody has to get across, especially if they're in a wheelchair, riding a bicycle, any type of wheeled conveyance, non-motorized, hopefully. There are areas where we will be doing connections. In other words, we have areas and sidewalks in that area where the sidewalk circles the block, but it does not go to the street, have a crossing, and then go from the street to the next sidewalk in the next block. So someone in a wheelchair can't go from one block to another. This would give full access up and down that side. Well, they're both on the west side of North Normandy, but that section of sidewalk, then we will be putting in new sidewalk in an area that did not have sidewalk at all.
So the difference between the fixing and the installing of the new is like fixing would be putting a little Band-Aid on whatever's damaged now, as opposed to getting something all brand new at one time.
Yes, ma'am. The sidewalks are in good enough shape along there. They were well done when they were put in. It's just that it's been 50 years. They need some maintenance at this point. And that's, for the most part, that's what it is, and filling in those gaps that connect one sidewalk to another sidewalk on the other in the next block.
And do you know by any chance when was the last time these sidewalks were maintained?
No, ma'am, I have no idea.
Don't. And of course, I picked up a binder upstairs that came from the fire department. I was looking into it and reading the history of Deltona. That was the first section that was built.
That is correct.
So I'm assuming that goes back to, well...
60s.
Right. So Deltona is 25 years, but that's the city 25 years, but Deltona itself is older than that.
Yeah.
So that's how far back these roads are in need of repair. Thank you.
And again, they may well have had many repairs over the years as things came up. It's just that at this point, we're looking at upgrading it so we have full access up and down the road.
And if I can say something, Member Vasquez, if you look on the map, the sidewalks go to Baltimore, the original install. From Baltimore to Saxon, there is no sidewalk. So it'll be, am I correct, Jerry?
There is no sidewalk.
There's no
along that
sidewalk.
side. Now, on the east side, there is a sidewalk.
Right.
But there's not one on the west side. So you have to take your life in your own hands, cross over North Normandy Boulevard, okay, and then you can be on a sidewalk. But if you're on the west side, you're walking in someone's yard or on the city's right of way, but in the grass.
Madam Mayor, if I could jump in here. I had an inquiry earlier about, the nature of the repair work and all that. Just to confirm, if somebody drives a heavy truck over a section of sidewalk and it cracks it, and we're made aware of it, we block it off and we do the repair work quickly. So the sidewalk itself overall is in good shape. The main thing that the section from Deltona Boulevard to Baltimore is for connectivity. When you go out there, you will see there's gap between the sidewalk and the road. So somebody would have to take a wheelchair through the grass in order to make that connectivity. So we're going to provide that connectivity. So when it's all said and done, somebody could be able to go from Saxon to Deltona Boulevard and stay on the sidewalk or the crosswalk the entire way. That's what this project does.
But that Baltimore part is just option one, right? The option two would take it all the way up to Saxon Boulevard.
The second project goes all the way from Baltimore to Saxon. The first project is to do the connectivity and any minor repairs we need to make with regard to Deltona Boulevard and
To
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay, members, any other questions? If not, it's my understanding that we need a motion and a second to approve these items.
Second.
Okay, properly moved by,
Madam Mayor?
yes,
They're different contractors.
right.
So I think it would be... You want, is that what you want? Okay, that's fine. Just, I would put all the names of each of the work
So, I'm
and
sorry.
the contractor.
We'll start with item C, which is a contract for upgrades and installation of sidewalks. That's what we're talking about now. The upgrade, the first quote of $30,900 and change, and the second $83,700 and change. That is what we're going to be voting on.
That's
So-
JMD Global.
And yeah, and it is authorization of the two contracts. And that is JMD Global Quotes. That's the only one that's listed for that, correct? Okay, so, Madam Clerk, the motion is going to be to approve.
Madam Mayor, they do
Yes.
have a motion. It says they move to approve $114,640.56 expenditure for sidewalk improvements along the North Normandy Boulevard corridor and directing the acting city manager to execute the contract. And then the acting city manager has the authority to make scrivener errors and like, so they do have a motion.
Perfect, thank you, because my thing keeps going black.
But he made the motion, not me.
No, you're right, but there's nothing,
Go
I think
down-
they combined the two together.
okay.
That's why I'm saying, I think under C, they combined.
They combined the cost.
The two amounts under one.
Okay. So do we want to use that then?
I'm
we-
good with that.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, are we good with that motion? I would suggest, Member Ramos, that you read
I'll read
the first quote and the second quote.
Madam Chair, if you go to item C, it'll have everything. If you go down one,
I believe that's what Member Bradford said.
Yeah,
and
that's what she
I'm
said, the
gonna read.
114,600.
So
Yeah, it
I
has to
hereby move to approve the 114,640 50 expenditure for sidewalk improvement along the North Normandy Boulevard corridor and I direct the acting city manager to execute the contract. Acting city manager has the authority to make corrections and scourge errors and the like.
Second.
Okay, properly moved by Member Ramos, seconded by Member Bradford. So Joyce, are we clear on that? Okay, so it's a motion as stated. May we vote, please? You can reread it, yes.
Great, so I hereby move to approve the $114,640.50 expenditure for sidewalk improvements along the North Normandy Boulevard corridor and to direct acting city manager to execute the contract. Acting city manager has the authority to make corrections of scrivener's errors and the like.
Press the button, King. What are we waiting?
And 6-0? Okay, perfect. Okay, item D, a contract for lighting improvements along Deltona Boulevard from Enterprise Road to DeBerry Avenue within the Southwest Deltona Community Redevelopment Area. So this is the second portion of what you've talked about, correct, Mr. Mays, for the upgraded lighting?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay. We only have, do we have any, we just have one contractor on this?
Yes, that's Duke Energy.
Okay, perfect. Item D, and Member Bradford, Member Avila Vasquez.
Okay, I
What
hereby
questions?
move to approve the $14,630.31 expenditure for illumination improvements along Deltona Boulevard between Enterprise Road and DeBerry Avenue, and direct the acting city manager to execute a contract with Duke Energy. The acting city manager has the authority to make corrections of scrivener errors and the like.
Second.
Okay, properly moved by Member Bradford, seconded by Member Avila Vasquez. Member Avila Vasquez? No questions? Okay, anyone else have any questions? No? Let us vote, please.
Let me read the motion.
Yes.
I hereby move to approve the $14,630.31 expenditure for illumination improvements along Deltona Boulevard between Enterprise Road and DeBerry Avenue, and direct the acting city manager to execute a contract with Duke Energy. The acting city manager has the authority to make corrections of scrivener's errors and the like.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, Mr. Mays, anything else you need from us?
No, ma'am.
We are good. Mr. Peters, anything else we need, or Marcia?
What about the B, the report you were going to do on the update? That was on the agenda at B.
The update on the CRA?
Yeah, update on the CRA was before the contract. Were you,
Okay, I believe Finance gave that report before I came up
They did the first one
No, they
with
did.
Purvis Gray.
they did the,
about the audit.
yay, B was supposed to be an update. I mean, I'm just going down the agenda.
Right.
I mean, if that was not,
Basically, is the update basically the lighting and the sidewalks? That was the update? Okay.
That was it.
Madam Mayor, if I could just give a brief update. We did complete this last year, the crosswalk, the lighted crosswalks, the high-intensity lighted crosswalk. If you've been down there when they come on, they are high-intensity. And we, working with Ron's shop, is working to put out an RFQ for planning services to do an overlay district that will help us address some of the inherent problems we have within the corridor with undersized lots. It makes it difficult to get adequate parking for the property to be redeveloped. And we're looking at a road diet type of thing as part of that overlay district. So we will be coming back to you all at a later date with the proposal for the planning firm to start that overlay process. So we are moving forward. We it's not technically part of the CRA in terms of funding, but we have completed the preliminary design for the sewering of the area around Enterprise and Deltona Boulevard, and in my opinion, more importantly, the Saxon corridor. We have some opportunity to see some redevelopment there, and so we will be coming back with a final design proposal to get that underway. And lastly, I just want to report that we are in conversation with the property owner who owns 4 parcels, of, actually 5, but 4 that he's talking about, along Saxon to put in a medical facility. I think the last number I heard was something like 14,000 to 16,000 square foot medical facility, which will be a really nice addition to that Saxon corridor. So we are moving forward. The reason that we're able to have those conversations is the fact that we are going to be putting sewer out there, so they will finally be able to redevelop the property. So I'm really encouraged with the direction that we're moving with the CRA, and we did see a significant increase in property values last year, which obviously helps the CRA, but I believe going forward, we will see even more significant increase in property values, which is the whole reason we do a CRA, is to revitalize an area so that it becomes a key business corridor for the city of Deltona.
Thank you, sir. Member, we'll go to member comments now. Member Avila Vasquez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. John, I know that you were speaking to the public's regarding their sewer system. The Fountain Lakes Plaza, do they have a sewer system?
Which one?
Fountain Lakes, which is right next to Enterprise, the other side of Enterprise, across the street
Next to
from...
the church, it's close to it's a shopping center closer to Enterprise.
Well, yeah, the one across the street from the daycare, next to, yeah.
Bagel King.
I believe that one did not have sewer, and that is part of the reason we're doing the sewer project, is to extend sewer from Enterprise up to the Baptist Church, so that all those businesses along that corridor will be able to connect sewer.
I thought we could piggyback on them as well, but I guess they don't, right? The other thing I wanted to ask you, and we spoke about this, but I want an update on the Enterprise and Deltona Boulevard wings that turn into Deltona Boulevard. What is the status on that from Volusia to get it fixed? Because it is getting very bad. And since we're on the topic of Deltona Boulevard, I think it's a good time to bring it up.
Well, for the record, I think I sent copies of it to the commission, but if I didn't, I apologize. I sent a pretty tersely worded email to the county. Basically said you need to get the thing fixed, or we're going to ask permission to do it for you. And we got a call within 2 days assuring us that they would get there. Unfortunately, it's been about a month ago, so I'm probably going to have another email exchange to find out the status. I know one of the problems they have is it's a relatively small project, and the county paving contractors do not like to bounce around. The county would have to pay a little bit more per ton of asphalt because they would have to remobilize. So I expect that will be part of the discussion. They did say that they're going to have to work with the paving contractor to get things worked out. So we are putting together our paving list, and it may be that we'll ask them, do you just want to add it to our paving list while we have a paver out there?
Okay, and just for the record, for those that are watching in District 3 that have brought this up numerous times already, it is on Deltona Boulevard, but it's like a wing, right, that goes in. That little part, unfortunately belongs to Volusia County. And it is getting really, really bad. So I think that the city should jump on it and build a county if it gets to that part, because
Well-
somebody even asked me, if something happens to my car, can I sue the city to get my car repaired? So that's what we're facing right now.
Well, when I was referencing that the city will be doing paving in the area, I was referring to the area Welcome Way and Deltona Boulevard. By some stroke of luck and being facetious, when the racetrack went in, we had them pay from Durston to the beginning of Welcome Way intersection. We had another paving job that we were doing in advance of that took it from the other direction to Welcome Way. The intersection itself was a gap, and it had deteriorated over the years, so we are going to be redoing that intersection so that we have a nice, clean, smooth pavement all the way through that area. So we're already going to be out there, and we can work with the county and try to get something worked out.
Okay, and again, I have another question, I'm sorry, but being that we're talking about this area, and I've gotten so many people asking me about this, and I think I very briefly spoke to Ron about it. That little property next to the cemetery, between the cemetery and the gas station, it's, according to the owners, the city is not helping them sell it. And just for those who have reached out to me, the city has nothing to do with the sale of that property. It's just that it's not big enough, from what I understand, to have anything built in it. Am I correct?
I'd like to correct the record. The reason that property is difficult to sell is it has a historic tree on it. And according to our code, you cannot cut it down without providing a huge amount of compensation. So the reason for that, it doesn't have anything to do with the city. It has to do with the fact that there's a historic tree on the property, and it's so small, it's hard to work around.
Okay. I just wanted it out there because people are asking me, even the owners are reaching out to me. I just wanted to be on the record that it's not, has nothing to do with the city. Thank you, Mr. Peters.
Okay, seeing no more comments, I just have one. The lighting improvements that have already been put in with the brighter bulbs along Deltona Boulevard, or along Normandy toward Deltona Boulevard, it's amazing. The other comment I have, when you're talking about, we're talking about Deltona Boulevard and Enterprise Road with one new pole with the 2 new LED lights, is any of that going to be in the area where we're going to be doing the stormwater/sewer improvements? Are we coordinating with Duke for that we don't have?
We have a corridor that will avoid the Duke power poles in order to put the sewer in, so we will be able to work around it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, seeing nothing else, we are now adjourning the Southwest Deltona Community Redevelopment Agency. Thank you, Mr. Mays. Thank you, staff. We are adjourned. It's a wrap.